There's a little bit of controversy in the last couple of days. Klarna has partnered with one of the food delivery companies, Deliveroo.
If you can't afford a takeaway now and you're using credit to cover it, that's already a red flag. And to those who think Klarna's so-called bankruptcy means they do not have to pay what they owe, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Klarna is not going bankrupt.
Hey loves, there's been so much talk on social media about Klarna going bankrupt. And most of it seems to be because they reported $136 million in credit losses in the first quarter of this year. That's money that customers didn't pay back, and to some people that automatically means that the company is collapsing. But is this a sign they're going under? Let's unpack it.
Klarna is pretty much going bankrupt because no one is paying them back. Like, they have a record high number of users on the platform. They have 100 million users. But at the same time, no one is paying them back. So they literally reported $136 million of unpaid debt. Like $136 million that people are just not paying back, and they're just, saying fuck it. And now Klarna is at a major loss. Even though they have a record high number of users on the platform, there's more users who are just not paying that shit back. And that's because you guys are letting people finance groceries and finance DoorDash orders. And I feel like people are seeing that and being like, well, actually, if I just do my biggest one right now and then not pay you guys back, I actually am just not going to have to pay you guys back. And then I don't know how much people actually care about things affecting their credit. Like, I don't even think they're thinking like, oh yeah, like this is going to affect whatever, blah, 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 blah. I just think people are like, whatever, I'm running off on the plug right now. Like, literally people are running off on the plug, dead ass, with Klarna. They said, actually, yeah, I agree to all your terms and uses and all that. And they get their loan of whatever the fuck. And they say, yeah, but I'm not paying you back. And now Klarna is literally about to go bankrupt because, bitch, nobody is paying them back. And, like, honestly, with inflation and how shit is really set up, how is that gonna work anyway? You see what I mean? But anyway, oh well, Klarna, we will see. This will be interesting to watch, I feel.
What honestly shocked me the most is seeing people celebrating the news. Some are even posting videos, posting their Klarna balance, acting like they don't have to pay it back because the company is going bankrupt. As if that's something to brag about. To me, that's just wild.
But what really caught my attention, and the reason why I'm filming this video, is two things. First, I was stunned by what people are actually using Klarna for. Not for needs, but for frivolous, unnecessary wants. People are using it to fuel their fast fashion habits, their luxury splurges, and the one that actually blew my mind was that they were using it to buy fast food. Fast food.
I just Klarna to Wingstop. Didn't even need to, but I didn't know you could Klarna on fucking Deliveroo. Are you joking? This cost me a third of the price. I'm not even going to think about it next month.
As you can see, he's just used Klarna to order Wingstop from Deliveroo. He said he didn't know you could Klarna Deliveroo. To be honest with you, I myself didn't know that until I started looking into all this. I was shocked. I didn't know you could Klarna a takeaway. He says that it only cost him a third of the price and that he's not even going to think about it next month. The caption on his video says it's basically free. But sorry to burst your bubble, that's not free. You paid a third now, but you still owe the rest later in the subsequent months. That's the trap. Saying you won't think about it next month doesn't make the debt disappear. Sure, the food is already gone, the Wingstop is already gone, you've already eaten it. But you see that payment? It's still coming. And it's those small I'll deal with it later habits, and it's those oh, I don't have to think about it habits that stack up and can become a big problem later in the future. Honestly, you shouldn't be using Klarna to buy takeaway food. I personally wouldn't use it for that. A takeaway is not a need, it's a want. If money is tight enough that you need Klarna to order food, that's a sign to pause. You'd be better off taking that same money to the supermarket or to the grocery store, buy your own wings, season them the way you like, fry it, or better still, pop it in the oven for a healthier option. You will get more out of your money by doing that in the long run. Let's actually normalize spending money on what we actually need. A takeaway? That's not it. Here are two comments from this particular video. It says, should we really be normalizing taking out a loan to get a takeaway? Another one says, Klarna on a takeaway is wild. I totally agree. I think it's crazy.
There's a little bit of controversy in the last couple of days. Klarna has partnered with one of the food delivery companies, Deliveroo. So you can now buy your takeaways on Klarna. So you can pay for your Thai takeaway in 3 installments. So if you're really, really peckish now and you're spending more than 35 quid on your takeaway, but you don't want to spend the full 35 quid in one go, you can buy your takeaway, eat your takeaway, and then pay it over the next 3 months.
But how much is it going to cost you over the 3 months?
Well,
if you don't, 35 now, what's it going to cost you in 90 days?
If you clear the 35 fees, 35 euros on time and on schedule over the period of 3 months, it doesn't cost you anything.
I mean, but
it's only if you don't pay pay off the debt on time, then you start hitting or being hit with penalties. It's digging people into financial holes that they don't necessarily need to be in.
Of course.
But I suppose one of the arguments that Klarna made in defence of this, and it's not a wrong argument, they're saying, well, what's the difference between using this service to buy a takeaway and using a credit card? And an awful lot of people, and I would include myself back when I was in my 20s and they gave me my first credit card, I thought, this is amazing, free money. And I ratcheted up these huge bills, and you realize, oh God, I've got to pay it back. Of course. So, like, using a credit card for a takeaway, it's kind of financially foolhardy as well. But I suppose this is just another way that people can spend money on a service, and maybe we shouldn't be spending that money.
If you can't afford a takeaway now and you're using credit to cover it, that's already a red flag. And if you start racking up debt, thinking you can ignore it and laugh it off, or just deal with it later, you're setting yourself up for a bigger problem later down the line. That's exactly how debt snowballs. One small missed payment here, another one over there, and all of a sudden it becomes overwhelming. It's just not worth it, especially not for a takeaway. Protect your peace, protect your pockets, and avoid falling into debt over something that isn't even a need. The second reason I'm making this video is to help inform people of when it's sensible to use Klarna and when it's not. And to those who think Klarna's so-called bankruptcy means they do not have to pay what they owe, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Klarna is not going bankrupt. I'll be breaking down what the 136 million credit loss means, the 99 million net loss, and why Klarna will absolutely still come after what they are owed. So please don't believe everything you see on social media. Let's get into the facts in this video, and I encourage you to stay to the end. The video that really shocked me was one of a young guy who was lamenting over his Klarna experience. How he had overspent and how he was struggling to pay it back, and how Klarna felt like it was a trap. But what surprised me more wasn't just his story, it was what he was using Klarna for. I honestly didn't think that people were putting these kind of things on buy now, pay later services. Let's get into it.
Listen, this is a one for anyone who has never done Klarna. Listen, if you've not done Klarna, stay the fuck out of it, because listen, when I tell you Klarna is not your best friend, it really is buy now and pay the consequences later. Trust me. Listen, Klarna is setting yourself up for failure in the future. It might be all good and dandy now, you know, you're doing it, you get your little purchase, you get your new shoes and that tomorrow. But then when you've got to pay it next month and the next other couple months, you're just setting yourself up.
He said, and I quote, Klarna is buy now and pay the consequences later. Now listen, if you're planning your finances properly and using it responsibly, there shouldn't be any consequences. You're just spreading out payments for things you can already afford. In actual fact, it can be helpful when used wisely. But the key is you must know what you're doing and what you can afford.
For me, it all started this year, right? Last year in December, I wanted to get my mum Uggs, but I spent off the last of my Christmas money. So I said, all right, cool, let me Klarna it. So Klarna my mum some Uggs. All right, cool, it was only like £70 a month, bash bosh. Then I went from Uggs to let me get a little pair of trainers myself. Let me get a little clothes for this one rave that I'm going to. Let me get this, let me get that.
He explained that after Christmas he was broke, but he still wanted to buy his mum a pair of Ugg boots. So he decided to Klarna it despite being broke. So that's the first red flag. You're out of money, but spending £210 on Uggs, which is £70 split into 3 monthly installments. Uggs are a want, not a need. I'm sure his mum has other shoes she could wear, And to be honest, in that situation, a thoughtful letter or a simple IOU would have been more than enough. Klarna shouldn't be a way to borrow for emotional spending when your bank balance is in the red. After the boots came the trainers, came the rave clothes. He probably has enough trainers and clothes he could have worn to the raves. Bear in mind, this is someone who just minutes earlier told us they had no money and now is turning into a Klarna spree for fashion and nights out. Again, these are luxuries and not necessities.
Before you know it, guys, I was Klarna in my bed, yeah? My bed that cost me £1,200, me then Klarna it. So that's £400 a month.
Then he Klarna'd a bed. A £1,200 bed. That's £400 monthly installments over 3 months. For someone who, again, says they don't have any money. Unless your current bed is unusable, that's just not a wise choice when you don't have the funds. And what stunned me more, he admitted later that he didn't even need the bed. Emphasis on need. Remember, he started off the video saying he was broke because Christmas had just happened. However, he's gone on to get his mum Uggs, himself trainers and rave clothes and a luxurious bed, all on Klarna. At this point, we're easily talking about £600 plus in repayments. That's someone's rent.
During this time, I was paying off my holiday, yeah, which I was like getting payments left, right and centre because one of my friends cancelled on the holiday. I had to pay another extra £300. So there was money coming left, right and fucking centre because I wanted to go pay a fucking bed that I did not even need. I mean, I'm so happy and grateful that I got my bed because I love my bed. My bed is like the comfiest bed in the world. But like, I was getting direct debits coming out this time. I'm like, blood clot. And then I didn't learn off my lesson then. Then I bought Creamfield tickets and I was literally paying that off, which was like £70 a month. I was then getting other festival tickets and then I went on another holiday and then I was paying off my next Klarna thing. And you know what really done it for me? It was literally the other month, I booked flight tickets, yeah, and I Klarna'd it. But I didn't realise that I Klarna'd it. You know, in the moment when you're using Klarna, you're just like, oh, it seems like a good idea, yeah? I forgot all about this. So I've Klarna'd now flight tickets. I've come on Klarna just to see, that make sure I've cleared up. Maybe I've got like about £50 left. I come and I have £500 left. And I said, pussy clot. £500. I said, this must be bugging, so I must be using my Klarna. I come click on it and it's my flight tickets. I'm like, fuck. Who even Klarna's flight tickets? I'm like, shit. So I just paid that in full and I was like, this is the last time I am using Klarna, guys. This shit wraps you up. Next minute, you're owing thousands and thousands of pounds to fucking Klarna and you don't even know it. It's such a good idea at first. And it's like, all right, cool, I don't have the money, but I'll have the money next month when I get paid. But then when you get paid next month, you've got some next bill. You've got this, you've got that. They're teeth. Yeah, it's teeth in, yeah? Guys, don't do it.
He goes on to tell us that before all the expenses he's just laid out, he already had Klarna payments for a holiday. Then came festival tickets, more flights, and he even goes on to say that he didn't even know he had Klarna'd some of them. Let's pause there. How do you not realize you used Klarna? At checkout, Klarna is very clear. It shows you installments, dates, and breakdowns. But that's the mindset, oh, I'll just deal with it later. Except later comes with debts piling up fast. And to use Klarna for a holiday is a luxury, not a need. If you can't afford it up front, or you know for sure that you cannot clear the balance, you probably shouldn't be booking it at all. You should book something more affordable, something more within your means. At one point, he actually calls Klarna thieves. But let's be real, Klarna didn't force anyone to add those items to their cart. They're a financial service offering flexibility, but it's up to you to use it responsibly. If you're buying necessities and genuinely have a plan to pay it back, Klarna can be helpful. But when you're unaware of your spending or have no financial structure in place, it's a recipe for stress.
Another thing, don't let anyone use your Klarna, yeah? Listen, I've had so many people, oh, can I use your Klarna? My Klarna doesn't work. All that bullshit, yeah? I had someone who was close to me. I let them use my Klarna. Now, I come see on my Klarna thing, £600-700 they're Klarna-ing. So I'm like, oh, like, you got money to be spending that like a month, innit? Oh, no, I'm just going to refund it. I said, are you fucking stupid? So you got your Klarna account banned and you want to refund your shit on my account? Are you dumb? Using my name. So I'm not even getting my Klarna, account banned for myself because I've been refunded. You're gonna be fucking doing. You're taking a piss. Take your shit off. You're not using my account, and I cancel the whole purchase. Yeah. Because you're not fucking stupid. Don't let no one use your credit cards, your Klarna, none of that shit, because people will fuck it up. Another thing, yeah, if they're Klarnaing something for 3 months and you get into an argument with them, what's going to happen now? They ain't going to pay that shit. That's in your name now. And listen, guys, I've had multiple people ask me to use my Klarna. Multiple fucking people. And I'm not even friends with you like that for you to even be asking me about Klarna. Are you fucking stupid? Listen, don't ever let anyone use that shit, yeah? I've already learned before, I will never, put my name on a holiday and let people pay it off. None of that shit, because when you get into a mix-up with them and it all goes pear-shaped, it's in your blood clot name. Klarna. Don't ever ask me. Listen, I know there's people gonna be thinking, oh, I asked him to use my Klarna, to use his Klarna and shit. I don't give a fuck. Don't ask no one to use their Klarna. Fuck that shit. Now I've got to go to work and pay off my Klarna debts.
And then he let someone else use his Klarna. Now his payments increased. Now that's outrageous. Let me say this loud and clear. Klarna is like credit. It's in your name. If the other person defaults, Klarna is not coming after them. They're coming after you. That affects your credit score. It affects your ability to borrow, to get a mortgage, to build for your future. One of the biggest issues here is how Klarna encourages overconsumption and impulse buying. And it's not just Klarna. I've spoken about this in a previous video on how TikTok is draining our wallets. The same emotional reckless spending we're seeing on social media is now disguised as convenience. Yes, Klarna makes it easy for you to get what you want now and worry about the cost later. But it's not free money. This young man has been on the holidays, he's taken the flights, he's slept on the bed, worn the clothes. The novelty has worn off, but the debt is still there and he has to work hard to pay it all off. That money could have been put to better use. If he had put aside even half of those Klarna payments, say £300 a month over a year, that's £3,600 saved. And if he does that over time, that's real money that he could have put towards a mortgage, a car, or a business. Something that appreciates in value, something that builds real wealth. So no, Klarna isn't the problem, it's the misuse of it. We have to normalize living within our means, buying what's necessary. What you know you can conveniently pay back and using credit wisely. In my opinion, Klarna should only be used for high-ticket items that you need. And even then, only when you already have the money or you know for sure that you will have the money to make those repayments. I've used Klarna before, but it's always been a calculated decision. The funds are already there, but I just prefer not to take a big hit on my account all at once. So I spread the payments, but I know I can cover it without any stress. It's wild to me how people use Klarna so freely, not thinking of the consequences or even having the means to pay it back. We have to stop using credit for things that lose value. So again, I'm not judging, but I'm just encouraging us to make better decisions. So is Klarna really going bankrupt? So yes, they did report $136 million in credit losses. This is money customers didn't pay back. But that's not unusual for a company like Klarna that offers a buy now, pay later service. In fact, their lending increased by 13% compared to the same time last year. So naturally, more lending equals more unpaid debt. They've said that the rise in credit losses was expected. Klarna made a total loss of $99 million in the first quarter of 2025, and a lot of people thought that this was as a result of the 136 million credit losses. However, this was far from the truth. The real reason for this loss is because Klarna is preparing for what's called an IPO, where a private company becomes publicly traded. And to get ready for this, they issued a $59 million share-based payments to employees, basically rewarding or retaining their staff with shares or stock options. They also had $26 million in depreciation costs and $8 million in restructuring costs because they're bringing in AI, which is replacing a lot of their employees. So they spent a lot of money in that area. If we were to strip off the 26 million depreciation and the one-off cost of the 59 million share-based payment and the 8 million restructuring cost, Klarna actually made a profit of $3 million. So no, Klarna is not going bankrupt. They're turning a profit at the operational level. In fact, Klarna made over $700 million in revenue over the first quarter of 2025, so January to March. They have 100 million users worldwide, partnered with big names like Walmart, eBay, DoorDash. They have $10 billion in cash reserves, which is readily available funds. They hold a BBB rating from S&P, which still makes them a safe and stable company. And get this, in their annual reports, it states that in the UK, which is their third largest market, they doubled their merchant base, now working with over 60,000 active UK retailers, including big names like Uggs, eBay, Eurostar and John Lewis. Klarna even said it themselves. They said, we're becoming the preferred way to pay for everything everywhere, from everyday spending to big ticket items. So no, Klarna isn't going bankrupt. If anything, they're positioning themselves to go public and to grow stronger. So I'm sorry to disappoint those who are rejoicing that their debts will be cancelled. But even in the event that Klarna did go bankrupt, I just wanted to address this. That doesn't mean that your debts magically disappears. They will sell off what is owed to them to a debt collection agency or another lender, and these parties will have the legal right to pursue repayments from you. Now let's talk about missed payments and why it's not something to take lightly. Missed Klarna payments today can seriously hurt your credit tomorrow. And this is because Klarna reports late or missed payments to credit bureaus. That includes major agencies like Experian, Equifax and TransUnion. And your payment history is one of the biggest factors that shapes your credit score. Even one missed Klarna payment can knock down your score. And that has real consequences when you apply for a mortgage, a car, a loan, or even a mobile phone contract. Lenders look at your credit file. And what do missed payments tell them? It tells them that you're a risk, which can mean higher interest rates, lower chances of approval, or being denied credit altogether. And here's the part many people don't realize. If Klarna closes your account due to non-payment, it could be classed as a default. And defaults stay on your credit report for up to 6 years. Even if you eventually pays it off, that negative history still follows you. So yes, buy now, pay later is still credit. Let's stop treating it like a game. Your financial future is worth more than that. Klarna might feel smooth at checkout, but make no mistake, it's still debt. Do you think it's okay to use Klarna for a takeaway? Drop your comments below. Please like and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, take care and buy wisely. Bye.